So here's what I think has to happen. I think ownership has to step up. Who has more to lose? Who has the biggest skin in the game? More so than the owner. The owner, millions of dollars. You can name people that you've interviewed, people that you have on Toba, people that you have in the Jockey Club have millions of dollars invested in studs, broodmares, farms. They've got the most to lose. The most vocal people in our industry are the trainers. Much more vocal, much more in interviews, much more sought after, much more in the news, much more quoted than any of the owners. Now, if you want to strip it down to its basics, the trainers are employees of the owner. And the owner has the option of saying, look, it's always appalling to me that I'm going to take the broad view here, leave the LASIX out, just medication and vet bills in general, keeping a horse actively running on the racetrack. It's appalling to me, and I often wonder how an astute businessman with millions of dollars invested could get a vet bill that would probably in many cases succeed his training bill and not question it. You go to the doctor and have anything done, and he hands you a bill, you don't just automatically say, well, that's the price of doing business. And yet owners, good, solid businessmen, will accept a vet bill and say, well, from a trainer, and say, this is just the cost of doing business. I guess this is true everywhere. I don't understand that. I think that the owners have to step up and question every vet bill. I think they have to look at me, my colleagues, and say, does that horse actually need this? Does he need that? We lowered the butazolidine thrush levels. I don't see any break off. I don't see any change in the deal. I think that we would go back and check the records. Before LASIX came into the picture, we had bleeders. No question about it. We had horses bleed. A lot of them we didn't even know it. But you know what? Statistics back me up that we had as many starters and horses ran as many times every year as they do, and even more than they do now. Where is the answer there? The ownership has got to step up. He's got to say, look, I want you to train my horse, but I don't want to be in the news. And I am not going to hire you or entrust my horses and $1 million of my investment if you can't do it right. And boy, that's just as basic as it gets. If you were a bank president and you had a teller that was embezzling and the federal government stepped in and said, we're going to give him some time, you wouldn't say, well, go ahead and serve your time. We'll hire you back just as soon as you get up. In fact, we'll give you, we'll fund you and you can fight it. Maybe you can get an injunction. We've made a mockery of it. We can't do that anymore. It just won't fly.